Do it.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're all safe, especially during these storms that we seem to be having in the UK. But tonight we've got my co-host Nadine for Sundown Paranormal, and our guests tonight are all the way from Texas, the Lone Star State. I think that's what you call it, isn't it? The Lone Star State.
Yes, sir.
Jason and Antonio, otherwise known as Tony from Jack's Paranormal. This is the first time we've had these guys on. I've been looking forward to this for a few weeks now. It's good that they're actually finally here. So thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks for having us once again.
Yeah.
It's great to have you in. Eventually, you know, you're kind of counting down the weeks and days, you know. But I mean, all our guests are special. You know, I'm not saying not our guests on this, but all our guests are special. So Jack's Paranormal, you know, he's on Facebook, YouTube. He's a massive on TikTok, absolutely massive. How did Jack's Paranormal come together?
Golly, I think we started 2020 right around the pandemic. I had an excellent idea for a TV show, and so I bought a bunch of paranormal equipment. But then COVID happened, and there wasn't a whole lot we could do with the TV show. So obviously, we just started hunting ghosts because you can't get COVID from a ghost. So
That's good. That's true. So you must have started July 2020. So you would have been running about the same time.
Yeah, we started November 2020 as well.
So we're kind of all relatively new to the paranormal. Well, I've been out the paranormal for about 30 odd years, but doing, you know, investigations and stuff.
yeah, I've personally been investigating, well over 20 years. Tony and Kendrick, the other member, they're fairly new, but it's just something that I've always been into since I was a small child. You know, we had a poltergeist in our house growing up, and I was really intrigued with the paranormal. And obviously, being a 80s baby, I had, the poltergeist movie come out, Ghostbusters, and so it was always playing into the paranormal. And, I always thought it was kind of weird because sometimes you see things, and of course you're told they're not what they are. But now I think with the equipment and stuff and TV shows that have come out, it's kind of helped open us to where we try to do it on a very regular basis. It's something that I can speak for the both of us. We absolutely love. It's a blast.
It's like a passive usage with the 80s. I'm the exact same. I grew up with poltergeist, Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
I grew up with all that kind of stuff. Blood, the more blood and guts, the better.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not a sadist or anything like that. But I do like to see films where people are losing limbs and stuff like that. But Big Jason really did it for me. He was my idol sort of thing. And I think that's what got me into the parrot, same as yourself. You started to get a kind of interest in it. So where did it move on from there?
Well, we just started kind of investigating random cemeteries, and one of my friends, we were slowly started a Facebook page, and they were like, y'all need to join TikTok, and of course, we're a little older, so I mean, TikTok obviously was extremely new to us. We didn't have a clue what we were doing, and it's hard to explain a paranormal video in 30 seconds. So we started it probably, I think, October of last year, and we would put some of our investigations on there. Where we really started to gain popularity is when we were able to go live on TikTok, and that's where we slowly started to grow from our live investigations. I guess people found those pretty interesting. But I mean, that's kind of how we started growing and getting more and more into, I guess, bigger investigations. You go from a couple of cemeteries to where If y'all haven't seen it, check out their YouTube page. It's the Haunted Hill House. It's one of the most haunted houses, if not the most haunted house in all of the United States. It's a great place to go. It's a blast, and we had great fun.
So Tony, you're sitting there all quiet in the corner. How did you and Jason meet up?
Well, we actually worked together, so it was pretty easy, and just really sitting around during the pandemic. I mean, we just kind of started getting crazy ideas, and just kind of went from there. Started meeting up, like you said, cemeteries, and it was pretty fun. I mean, I've always had that kind of sense, I guess, for ghosts and stuff. Just eerie feelings and stuff. I've always had them, so it was just for me. It was real easy to get into it, and that's kind of how that happened. And then got my brother in, got a couple of buddies, and it started being fun, and it's
Did you get when people found out you were doing paranormal? Did you get the weird kind of looks, or stay away from they're nuts, they're crazy?
Man, a lot of people actually thought it was pretty cool. Kind of like something that they always wanted to do, and we actually had the guts to do it. Like they were always like really, I mean, like something that they always wanted to do, but never had the guts for it. And for us to do it, and they're like, that's pretty awesome, that.
Right.
So no, we've gone. I guess you got feedback from both positions, good and bad. So
Yeah.
I think mostly good though. Honestly, everybody's been real supportive, and it's been a pretty cool ride.
We definitely get those weird looks when you tell people, because we both have an ability to where, we can see into the spiritual realm and spirits, and you get weird looks when you see a spirit and you're talking to somebody and you just kind of look over there and you kind of, and people just kind of like, but yeah, we get those weird looks. I mean,
And we kind of do it on purpose. We like to creep people out, so we'll do it.
that's not our secrets.
We're ordering, we're ordering food or something, and we tell them, hey, So we make it fun. I mean, we try to make it fun. So
We definitely do. So for those of you joining, this is what we call Jack's headquarters. This is the office in my store that I own. We have a bunch of different haunted artifacts here. We have I think two haunted dolls here. We catch a lot of stuff in I guess my store here. It's definitely fun, some of the stuff that we find.
So did you keep that in your house?
No. My
No.
funny story about that. So I used to, and one night I'm walking down. I'm in my man cave. I'm walking down the hall to go to bed, and there was about a 7-foot tall, just black shadow figure, not completely. You can kind of see through it, and I just had to walk through it because it was on my way to the room. And I was
just like, get out of my way, bitch.
I was just like, well, I'm going to bed. I don't know what you're gonna do, but so
I'm tired.
Yeah, from that point, the wife was like, hey, the equipment needs to stay at the store. Don't bring it home. So, obviously things do attach to us. They do follow us home, but we try our best to cleanse ourselves and to clean the houses so that doesn't happen. But yeah, the majority of everything spooky is here at my store.
Do you wear any protection?
We both wear, crosses.
Yeah, we're Catholics.
We're both Catholic. So we definitely do. We have our crosses, and then usually we'll do the prayer of St. Michael's after and or before an investigation, just to help cleanse what you're going into.
Just when you're talking about the shadow, you seen one video investigation I like to ask you about. You put a video up on 9th of February. and I think it was the third man in your crew who was sitting or lying down in a shadow past a doorway.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
See, first.
I've watched that a couple of times, and it gets by quite quick.
So that was obviously we do a lot of home investigations as well, and if I'm thinking of the right one, that was during the setup process. Like, we didn't visually actually see anything because we were still setting up. So we have, golly, I think 16 total CC cameras. So, during the setup process, what I'll do is usually go live, and we have one of those little kid pianos or something to kind of make noise, and that way, if the people on TikTok can see it, hopefully that kind of helps us out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff we catch, it's kind of, we didn't even know we caught it until somebody told us about it.
But see, we've had that with audio and stuff. Jennifer, we've got an American team as well, and Jennifer, she's really good with audio. And we've done investigations and listened back to them, and then Jennifer's came back to us, and other people as well says, "Have you any idea what you've caught on your audio?" And so I put the headphones on and listened and listened and listened, and it's amazing what you actually catch that you don't realize.
Yeah, so there was one time Tony and I were down in Mineral Wells in an abandoned hospital, and I had tweaked my knee earlier that day, and so I think I was on the 4th floor. Tony was going to go down to the basement to get some water, and so I sat on that 4th floor by myself. And at this time, I think I was on Facebook Live, and there was orbs shooting. Were they orbs, dust, bugs? I don't know, but it was very intriguing. I didn't find out 3 months later, 4 months later, when I was going through the footage, when I was talking about spirits or orbs, you can just hear, I'm assuming it's a woman's voice, literally say peekaboo. And it was just like, holy cow, that's crazy. And, I kept telling Tony, it's one of our videos right now. I think I posted it 3 to 4 days ago, to where I'm on the 4th floor. It's probably 1 a.m. I'm completely by myself. There's footsteps going up and down the stairway, and you can hear a little kid clearly say, "Mama." And I'm hearing this live. Like, once I started hearing this kid, I was like, "Oh crap, what is that?" And then I heard it talking about popsicles, and I'm like, well, we found out the 4th floor was the maternity ward. And so it was like, holy cow. And, we've had people go through, on one of them, somebody says, the little boy says, "Mama." And then it says, "Patrick, give me my fire truck." Some people had said, "Mama, help me, I'm frightened." So, I mean, obviously, when you're dealing with the spiritual realm, it's sometimes kind of hard to know exactly what they're saying. But I heard that little kid live, and as you can tell, I'm a talker. And during this time, I was quiet because I was scared. I'm not even going to lie.
Do you fully trust child spirits?
No, I don't. I don't really trust child spirits at all. The more that you do research on them, the more that you can, I guess, the more signs point to where it could be more demonic than actually a child. So whatever that little kid was saying, I wouldn't have it. If it was a little kid, I don't know, but I wouldn't have none of it. I wouldn't find no popsicle for it.
No.
Like, bro, you on your own.
You are not getting no popsicle. Get back to your room.
Yeah, I'm going to sit here and hope Tony comes in at some point. He forgot the water.
is when you get a voice, you hear a voice, and it's no through an app or anything. It happened to me last year. I called the Whispering Lady, and you hear it. You know, if they're sitting right next to you.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't explain it. You know, you can't debunk it because you know that nobody else around has spoke to you, and it's a totally different voice. This one was a whispering voice, and we could not figure out what she was saying. And it was Jim Martin for the Spirit Realm Network that ended up working it out what this woman was saying. Did you, when you get some of that, do you get a kind of, I know we do, get a kind of a buzz, a kind of adrenaline rush kind of thing?
I mean, sometimes, yeah. The more that we do it, I think we get a little more adrenaline and a little less, I guess, afraid. I was just at Goatman's Bridge the first part of January, and it's a very active place, but I wasn't scared. I think it's just come to the point we're kind of used to it. You know, we've been touched, we've been scratched, we've been burned, we've been bitten. You know, I've had my hair pulled, and it's just gotten to the point where it's like, you know, it's still exciting, but I mean, you can go to some of our first TikToks. There's a video of Tony clearly running out of a cemetery screaming. He was scared. It's pretty funny.
That wasn't me. That was him.
I don't know the guy that was behind him. I have no idea who that
That
was,
wasn't me.
but you could definitely see Tony running. I mean, 100% Tony's running.
Yeah.
I don't know who started screaming like a little girl.
We're gonna have to watch this now.
I'm guessing it was Tony, but you know,
What date was the video? So we can look it up.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I'm actually going to repost it probably in the next day or two.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, and since you know we've now gained over 100,000 followers, you know we like to post some of the older stuff that they may not have seen from when we first started TikTok, and that's one of the videos. It's pretty
funny.
It's really funny.
I think we need to. I think we all need to have a wee look at that one. No offense, Tony. You know, I think we all need to have a wee look. But, I mean, that makes it paranormal fun as well. Sometimes things happen and it's no funny at the time, but when you sit and you think back, you know, you think that was quite funny what happened. TikTok.
Sorry, I'm wiping my nose. If anyone's curious why I'm dipping off camera.
I've got a question to ask you. It's no paranormal related, but it is. You understand when I ask you. Since you're sort of massive in TikTok, you might be able to answer it. I hope you can answer it. We started TikTok about 6 months ago, something like that, and for months it stayed under. I was sitting at like 93 for weeks and weeks and weeks. The past 9 to 10 days, we've gained about 900 followers. It just seems to, I know it's no, you know, we're still about 40, 50 away from the 1,000, you know, compared to you guys, it's minuscule, but it's just something that, I mean, it's great, but it's been bugging me why it just suddenly kind of explodes sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it sometimes has to do with the video. I mean, you can actually, you should be able to go to your creator portal, kind of look at the analytics of your video, and it will tell you, you know, what's tracking. And so that's the biggest mystery about TikTok is what videos are going to go viral. You know, something that you think is absolutely amazing. It's the best paranormal footage you've ever seen. Most of them will not think that. and you know, it's some of the random stuff that we end up posting about. Like, you know, we'll feature other paranormal investigators on our page, and just some of the weirdest things will start going viral, and you're just kind of like, how is that? Like, there was one that I put a silly song to, and I think that was one of our first million views. It was just a quick little, it could have been a puppet in a closet, and all of a sudden, because it was paired with a silly song, it jumped like to 1.3 million views. And I'm just like, you know, how is that? But with TikTok, I can guarantee you have to post multiple times a day. Uh, you have to go live, every now and then once you get to where you do that. And, that's, like I said, that's one of the hardest things in paranormal. And that's why we'll feature other people's videos on our page, is to help continuously grow your following on TikTok, because, the goal obviously of TikTok is to become a creator like we are. TikTok pays us to make videos. They pay us to go live and stuff. And that's the ultimate goal of TikTok, because and YouTube and anything else is, hey, they're paying you to do what you love. But that's one thing, you have to be consistent on. Sorry about that. On whatever social media platform you're on.
I try and put up. I mean, it's just photographs that I put together just now until we get to the 1,000. I think it's 1,000. You can go live.
Yeah.
After we hit the 1,000, then we'll start doing the lives. But right now, it's it's just collections of photographs I put together. And I'll add a different kind of tune to each one to go with the theme. But it was just it's just one of these things that stuck in my head. We just seem to, for weeks and weeks, we were like that, and then we just kind of woof.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we appreciate each and every follower. Do you know what I mean? And it's not if we've done anything different or anything. We've just been shooting, and then it just kind of.
Well, I mean, that's the same way. I'll have a video we post. It'll only get 1,100 views out of the 100,000 people that follow us, and then the next video right next to it all of a sudden has 200,000-300,000. It's really hard. So with TikTok, I believe it's those first couple of people that see your video to help it start going viral. So if you've made a video and if you end up on somebody's For You page, and if they don't like paranormal, or if they don't think the video's good and they just swipe through instead of watching the whole thing, then I think it slowly starts putting you on the back burner to where you're getting less and less views. But definitely what also helps, join the paranormal TikTok community, join in their lives, be active, always help. And I want to say, on TikTok, the paranormal community, we're all fairly close to each other. Some of them, have hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of followers, and some of them, they have, a couple of hundred, but we all support each other. We definitely help build, we make sure to watch the videos, make sure to like them, make sure to share them, just to help the paranormal community grow.
Mm-hmm. I still about like network. I was talking to Brian last night, and we were talking about networking, what have you, and helping each other out, posting and sharing. But do you find that there's a lot, the paranormal in the last maybe 10, 15 years is kind of went, boom. Obviously, it was there prior.
Yeah.
So it became more accepted.
Yeah, some people love him, some people hate him, but Zach Bagans and the Ghost Bunch Venture guys had really helped the paranormal explode. If you think about it, I think they started 10, 15 years ago, and I guess that to see something like that on network TV kind of made it normalized. Yeah, they overreact to some of their stuff. Yeah, but we've all been there. We know how exciting it is when you actually get a response that you're asking for, because the majority of paranormal investigating is you sitting there asking questions to an invisible force, and you're hoping it's going to say something. So you can go 2 hours without anything happening, and then finally you get a response, and you're like, oh wow. It's just, some people don't realize, they're like, oh, they're acting. No. When you sit there and you ask those questions and finally get that response, it's exciting. I still do it. These guys make fun of me because, I think everything's paranormal, and I'll hear a water cooler go off, and I'm like, oh, the ghost did it. And they're like, no, it wasn't. I'm like, yeah, it's gotta be.
is there a bit of a exaggerator, Tony?
He has to come a little bit of exaggerated.
No one.
Was he was saying,
Yeah. Yeah, very. Yeah. I'm more of the debunker, so I'm always looking for an answer or debunk it. So he catches a lot of help from me. Yeah. So, and yeah, he'll tend to do that not once in a while, most of the time.
Yeah.
but I mean, you get people. I've done it myself. You've been out, in the middle of the night, at a graveyard, wherever, and you hear it, and you're like,
Yeah.
that must have been a ghost. That must be a spirit. But it was maybe, a fox farting or something. That was a spirit.
Well, a lot of times, I'll say something growled and it ended up being my stomach. I mean, I don't, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I can't help it.
That's happened. I'm like, that was you, bro.
I can't tell you how many videos we've gone through to where I apparently have a noise that I make. They catch it on the videos. I always think it's a ghost, and I finally have come to the realization that it is me. It's not a ghost. But I'm like, every 10 minutes when I'm going through the footage, oh Tony, it's got to be a ghost. Got to be a ghost. Oh, bro, that's you. No, there's no way. And then
You make noises.
yeah, then I make a lot of noises.
Does Laura do farts on the?
Laura's part of our team. Was one of the girls, and it's Laura that wrote that the Greyfriars story I was telling you about. Laura can be a bit of a farter once she gets started. I'm not in person or anything. She lives about 5 minutes away from us. We see her all the time. She's brilliant, but she can be a wee bit of a farter and a drama queen. So she's a wee bit like you, Jason. I'm not calling you a drama queen, Jason. What I mean is, you were that. Oh my god, we're going to die. We're going to die. Hands up in the air, we're going to die. And it's
I'm the guy that's got the pretty hair, so drama queen. I mean, that probably a little bit.
well, there's kind of no competition there in that field, is there? But I do say I'm only like this because I choose to be. I could grow hair but no, I wouldn't have been like that too. It's been too long.
This is COVID hair. I used to be super short hair. Couldn't stand hair touch my ears, and COVID happened. I quit going to a barber, and here we go.
I don't have COVID hair. I've got COVID belly.
Yeah, I think my belly was before COVID, so I mean, I can't help it. I'm a big boy.
Laura, I said I was only kidding, though. I said you were fantastic, etc. I think everybody could have heard me. Well, I mean, how did the pandemic affect you? I know we don't like talking about it, but over here, obviously everything shut down. We weren't allowed to investigate anywhere. That's why we started doing interviews, kind of thing, chats. How did you work it when it happened over there?
I mean, as far as business owner, it affected me tremendously. We weren't even shut down, but we didn't have anybody walking through our doors, I think, for 3 or 4 months, and so it was pretty rough. But we luckily live in a great state of Texas, and to where we didn't get hit like the rest of the states did. Our governor fought to try to keep everything open that we possibly could. We were doing work down in DFW area and Dallas Fort Worth, and we would, while we were working, I mean, we would go ghost hunting. I mean, cemeteries were our best friends, and that's where we kind of learned, I guess, kind of perfected. I would say perfected. We kind of honed our craft. Cemeteries. I mean, I love a good cemetery. Not gonna lie.
I do enjoy a good graveyard as well. I know that sounds. That's why people think we're weird. I mean, probably in England it's the same, Nadine. That's why people think we're nuts because
I think people lurk around graveyards.
Most folk go for a night out, but we don't. We go to a graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
much.
we don't go to, I don't go to bars. I go hang out with dead people. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I mean, I like them, but they, I don't know. I just love, I guess, the rush that you get while you're doing it.
Aye, but I mean, so see, that's why people think we're nuts because we can sit. I mean, I think we've all done it. We've all sat in a graveyard or an old castle, whatever, for 2 3 hours, and it's been. I was going to say deadly quiet. Pardon the pun. It's been there's been nothing, and a couple of times I have to. I mean, we were out last Friday. We were ready to go for an investigation, but it started raining as soon as we went out to the car. But we ended up and taking some photographs, and me, Laura's husband, and her daughter went for a walk in this forest kind of thing. And I ended up doing a wee live, but the rain was pouring down. I'm thinking it's a Friday night, it's pitch black, it's pouring with rain in Scotland, and I'm walking about a forest. Why? You know, and then you realise because this is what I love doing.
Yeah. No, I mean, exactly. I mean, for the longest time, which I found out was a no-no afterwards, I would investigate in my own house. Uh, once you do that and you let the spirits know that they're more tempted to talk to you, and hence why the shadow figures and other things that have happened into the house. And that's one reason I don't do that anymore. Is it weird? Probably, but I always thought it was cool when you sit there. I have, in my opinion, one of the best spirit box we were doing, and I can't remember the question I asked, but I remember the response, and it's an extremely, for a spirit box that y'all know, they're usually pretty quick. This thing said, immediately turn to Christ while we're in a graveyard. I'm like, oh, he's talking to you, bro. and for a spirit box to say that long of a sentence, it was just kind of like, oh my gosh. So at that time, that was like the holy grail for me. I was like, oh my God, it's a big long sentence.
As, Andy Murphy's saying, when does it not rain in Scotland? Andy Murphy's a good friend of yours. He's my co-host in a show I do once a month with him and a guy called Charlie. He used to stay in Yorkshire in England. They moved to Antelope Valley last August time, whatever, for work. And so he's always posting photographs of constant sunshine, blue skies, etc. And we're looking at great clouds. He likes to rub it in. That's why he put that comment up. When does it never rain in Scotland? He forgets where he came from. So what about Nadine's been out. She's with her team, and she's had quite a couple of negative experiences.
I guess really one of the main negative experiences we had when we were investigating a residence of somebody. I had a K2 meter in my lap, and it started going off. It was very weird, and I didn't feel it at the time. But that morning when I woke up, I had the typical like 3 scratches down the inner part of my thigh. That was a little bit negative. I think when we were in Hell's Gates in Lubbock, Texas, I ended up having bruises from where a spirit had grabbed me. Tony had gotten pushed. Honestly, it hasn't. We've knock on wood, have definitely been fairly blessed as far as negativity. The scratches, the pushes, but nothing has. Nothing major to where it's caused us to any kind.
Visions. I had visions before the investigations. I had visions, but scary visions.
Mm-hmm.
So did your visions make you cautious?
Yes, because as soon as I saw it, I did tell them, hey guys, I think this was for reals. I just saw something, two somethings, and they just kind of be let's be prepared, or let's be cautious, really. So that for that one, we did have a full prayer before we started. So
And we put holy water on us.
holy water, yeah. Yes,
Not gonna lie, when he has, because he explained to us what the vision is. When he has those visions, it's usually not good. So we went in, we prepared ourselves, and made sure we were protected. And it was funny. We had a medium watching our live, and she said they're all standing around just watching y'all. They wouldn't, and nobody knew what we did prior to the investigation. Nobody knew the prayer. Nobody knew the holy water. But they said that they're just standing around watching y'all. And,
there was one leader, and it's telling them not to say nothing or do nothing,
yeah, like they were being held back by something.
whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, we don't play around. I mean, we've all seen The Exorcist, and I don't want that to happen to me.
I know the
We
hex,
don't know what
but
we're dealing with, so we got to be cautious. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to respect it too. I mean, it's something that we all always known that if we don't believe on it, or skeptical or whatever, we still got to respect it.
And that vision was given to you for a reason, of course.
Exactly.
So
That's what we feel. Yeah.
Tony, when when you guys are all together and you're doing an investigation and you're getting, quite a bit of activity. Excuse me. What's going through your head? How do you feel? Do you feel like the you can feel spirits round about you, or
We feel, when you're doing the investigation.
Yeah, he's asking like when you're doing the recording, can you feel them around?
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, I do get that really heavy feeling, that the really heavy surrounding. And when I don't, I mean, it's not scary at all. I mean, it's just, again, we're just cautious about it, but I mean, it doesn't feel scary. So, I mean, I don't think me personally, I don't think I feel it all the time. I mean, there's just certain places that we go that I'll feel it. It kind of depends. I mean,
the reason I'm asking, Milan, is because I'm not a medium. Some people call me a sensitive way back, but I'm not a medium or a sensitive or anything like that. But it's random that sometimes I can pick up on a spirit for somebody there, maybe standing beside us, whatever, or I can look at a photograph and I can tell you, what happened in the past in that photograph, sort of thing. Maybe it's a photograph of an old graveyard, and I can tell you who's buried there, the plague victims buried there, or whatever. And it's totally random. A couple of times we've been out in investigations, and we've been getting answers through with the K2 and what have you, and I'll feel somebody beside us. That way your attention keeps getting drawn to kind of one particular kind of spot. And that's happened to me sometimes. So that's how I was curious as to how you feel, Tony, when you're out and you're getting bits and pieces going on. If you can sort of feel them standing or sitting there, because let's face it, do you think there could be spirits all around us? That's a theory I've got, but you only feel them if they want you to feel them.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
disagree with that.
You disagree with that?
I disagree with that.
Which part?
About only feeling them if they want you to feel them. I disagree with that.
Oh, to I think to certain people, yeah.
Yeah. It's energy at the end of the day. It's there. If you're sensitive to that energy, then you're sensitive to the energy, whether they want you to feel it or not.
Yeah, but
So
I'm a big believer. They say the world is 4.5 billion years old.
mhm.
I don't know how long man's been walking here, but I imagine there's a lot of dead people in that 4.5
Yes.
billion years.
That's exactly what I say. Like, you say, well, how come a house be haunted? It's brand new. It's on new land. Well, what's been on that land before you? How many people have died on that land?
Yeah.
What's happened there? What's been lost in history over the millions of years?
yeah, I've always felt something in this store, and even before we started, this investigation stuff, I will tell them, hey man, there's something here, man. I mean, like, I can go down to the back and I can feel the heaviness. Not all the time, you know. I'll see shadows sitting on my desk. I'll see shadows. You know, random stuff like that. And I will tell them, hey man, I just think I saw something. No, this building's only 4 years old. There's no way. Well,
Yeah.
getting into this even more now, he's like, oh yeah, this place haunted. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like for me, these feelings, I didn't pick them up 2 years ago. I've always had,
Yeah.
you know. For me, it's like I've always felt something here.
I was always a believer during that something had to be old, and then just one day, I guess it just kind of hit me. Man, there's a lot of people, especially where we live. We live at the plains of Texas. Native Americans roamed this land, and there so many different wars were probably fought where we are, and it's just one of those things that I was like, man, I guess like I said, I just had a whole different perspective back then of what could be haunted, because this building I think is maybe 9 years old, and he was like, oh, it's haunted. And I had several people tell me, I'm like, no, hauntings, watching TV, hauntings only happen.
But it is, isn't it? When you see a haunted house, when you think haunted house, what's the first image that pops into your head?
Oh,
An old wooden, decrepit house falling apart with bats flying out.
Pointy roofs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the horse. I mean, yeah.
Do you think? I used to think the same way, same as graveyards, because I think I watched too many films, and 80% of horror films, there was a graveyard somewhere in it. There was always a graveyard thrown in. So I kind of way back used to think it was only graveyards that are haunted. You're safe everywhere else.
Yeah.
But then I started to, the penny kind of drops, and the more people you talk to, the more paranormal teams, etc. you talk to, you learn a lot. You think, well, wait a minute, no, because as Dean yourself says, anywhere can be haunted.
Yeah.
But I blame, just my view, I blame a lot on Hollywood.
Yeah.
No disrespect, there's some great movies.
He has to say that in case they take him on.
I've been,
Yeah. Sorry, Hollywood.
I've seen shadows in churches, so I mean, anywhere can be haunted.
Yeah, anywhere.
I mean, you can't really say it's holy ground. I mean, it's anywhere. I've seen actual shadows inside the church.
Yeah.
So, pretty creepy. And when 3-4 other guys that were there all saw it, pretty weird. so yeah, anywhere can be haunted.
Louise makes an interesting comment, and what are your guys' opinions on this? I get told this many years ago. I can't remember who told me, but I get told if you are, you could be your dad or your mum or somebody who passed away, if you are just randomly thinking of them one day, then they'll be right there beside you. And I got told that years ago, and I'm not saying it's not true. It's kind of, I'm not sure about that one. Just when Louise put that comment up.
I know the human mind is very powerful. They say we only use like 5 to 10% of it. I believe sometimes, the mind can play tricks on you, but who am I to say that they can't? Obviously, us both being Catholic, we believe in heaven or hell. But once you die, God doesn't take your free will away. So what stops, a person that may be in heaven, you think of them and boom, they come down to comfort you. Or if it's a happy memory for them to be there, like, hey, I remember that with you. I mean, I can't, obviously we don't know. I don't doubt, what can and can't happen. I mean, that's one thing. Anybody will tell you, I don't know what it's like to be dead.
Yeah. I think it's a connection as well, isn't it? With people of your loved one, you've got a connection to them, and I think sometimes that they'll be there as long as you need them, kind of thing. But once you don't need them anymore, they can move on. That's kind of how I look at that.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't want to move on.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get stuck here, and they can probably get pissed off because they can't move on, and that's when things can get fun, for whomever is.
But I do totally agree that it could be in your mind as well. You're wanting that person to be there, so you'll smell that person, and like you said, the mind is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
It's something that would be very interesting to research into, wouldn't it? Whether it's, if you got a group of people to study and got them to think of someone, and then did an experiment to see what evidence you could get that person was there, that would be a really good. Don't be stealing this, guys. I just thought of that. To actually see if you could get evidence to back it up. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's so much that you can do to actually, you can use, SLS cameras, the famous baby powder. If somebody walks near that, I mean, there's so much that you could use in a situation like that. But yeah, no, that would be really, really good, and I would look for that on Jack's next TikTok. I'm just.
As you say, it can be the mind, even with locations, it can be the mind. As we were talking before we came on about Greyfriars. When you go to Greyfriars Kirkyard, do you know if you were in the Covenanters, or did you just go to the graveyard? She's not listening to me.
So I was reading that comment. Sorry, say it again.
I just throw the pen away.
Say again. Sorry. Listening. Full attention.
Is it because I was speaking Scottish?
Yeah, totally. Couldn't understand you. Could you please slow down and say that again?
I'll need to speak English.
Yes.
No offense to any English, but I love English. They're brilliant people. When you went to Greyfriars, did you just go into the graveyard, or did you go into the prison?
No, we didn't go into the prison because the prison was locked.
Right, that's all
we stick stuff into the prison. Oh, wait, that sounds wrong. We did put our hands in. I'm glad you said you put your hands in. I'm glad we were very good and well behaved, and we did not climb any fences. And if the police come, that is exactly what I'll tell them.
Yeah.
Standing by.
But I mean, with Greyfriars, then you've got the Covenant, and we've been lucky enough to we've been in it quite a few times. And as soon as you step from one bit to the other, you do feel a change in atmosphere. And I've been asking myself, is it in the mind? Because also the Covenanters prison, way back, in the 1600s was where the Covenants were taken, and there was just sheer brutality. It was horrible what happened to the prisoners and what have you. And so I think because I know the history of the place, and I'm walking in there, you're trying to imagine what they felt when they walked in there. Does that make sense? The mind can change the atmosphere.
If you went in there with no knowledge of what happened, would you feel the same thing you would feel if you went in with the knowledge?
Like when we do personal residence, we don't want to know the history. We don't want to know what's happening to you. We want to go in blind. That way, our mind's not playing with us. We know we're called there for a reason. I will explain to them, hey, what we're doing can make it worse. But, just be aware of this. And we go in there and, completely blank. We don't have a clue what's going on. And then we sit down with them afterwards, show them our findings, and, try to help them however we can. And of course, sometimes it's definitely above our pay grade. You got to get a spiritual person in there because we just made it really bad and we're sorry.
It's real satisfying when we when we find stuff or feel stuff and tell them, and it actually matches what they're, what they're going through.
Yeah.
Really, that's really satisfying. So I think it's a lot funner.
It makes you know that it's not a bunch of BS.
Yes. So we tell them, this is what the main area is. The TV going on, and they agree with you. That's real satisfying. So,
Do you get crazies though that like there's nothing in the house but they want it for the attention kind of thing? Like if people know you can make money off of haunted houses.
Yeah, I don't think we've really gone to a place that it has been like that. Like we're aware they're out there, but I think the people that, because people will contact us via Facebook and we're not huge on Facebook. It's usually local people that aren't looking to make any kind of money, that are really looking for help. So I mean, luckily, I don't. We haven't ran across that, and hopefully, we don't. But I mean, they are. I mean, they're definitely out there.
But I suppose as well, though, because it's very transient with the spirit world, you could go to a house that's absolutely upside down every other day, but when you go, you get nothing.
yeah.
So I suppose in those cases, you would really have to try a few times to say, look, there's nothing here, because we've all been out with one night it's up in arms, and the next night you get absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and that's sometimes, if that does happen, we let them know that we may not find anything, and that doesn't mean.
But then again, I think
Yeah.
what happened to us where we felt there was nothing going on, and then until we went to that footage, and then we actually the activity started getting worse. But when we were there, I mean, there was nothing. We really didn't feel nothing. I think only one occasion going through a doorway, I felt something, and we had another one of our meeting friends.
That second time we went to that house.
Yeah, well, that was the second time. Okay, so yeah. So, but yeah, I think the first time I don't think we found anything.
Well,
We didn't feel nothing. We
So
might have exaggerated a little bit, but there was really no feelings. And again, I think the TV got worse. So we went back the second time, and that's when we actually started feeling stuff. So I don't know if it was messing with us or
so the first time we went is when I got scratched, and then I think one of the spirits told me "F you," and then of course I think at that point I went in extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
And because the spirit was messing with a mother and a daughter, and we're Texans, I'm a big old cowboy, and that's a no in our city, and that's when I went in extremely aggressive. We caught some stuff. I think we caught a couple of little spirits during the actual deal. We caught a red orb, which is really cool, but it wasn't as bad. And so we had left, and the next day after we left, she ended up, while she was in the shower, got scratched straight down her back, and asked her husband, hey, did you do that? And he's like, no, that wasn't even there before you got in. And so it's just, they then, contacted us, and we got back over there, and then we went over there with Sage and another spiritual friend to help us out. And, that's when I didn't go in as aggressive. I went in more, thinking, what is this? And I was laying on their bed because she had talked about being held down. And, I just hear this god awful scratching. It sounded like somebody drug a chain in their attic or something. And I ran out of there. And I remember during that time, him and the other person were sitting in the kitchen talking, and I was just sitting in the chair off in the room that we all got the kind of creepy vibes, and I could feel the anger of that spirit, and I started to get mad at those two. And then I was like, whoa, wait a minute, bro, this ain't okay. You're not allowed to do that with me. And that was the second time when we went. And then, unfortunately, after we saged the house, uh, she was still having issues, and at that point, I told her she's agnostic, and I said at that point, hey, you may want to call some kind of spiritual leader to go there
Yeah.
to help you out, because you being agnostic, I get it, but there's something definitely there.
Yeah.
I try to joke around and say, hey, just tell them you don't believe in them.
Hmm.
That's
So
that.
where do you stand on taunting?
So I don't do it anymore. I don't do it hardly ever now, but I definitely don't do it in people's houses because of that experience. Uh, I definitely don't do it in graveyards. I used to be, hey, the more you taunt, the more you're going to get
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
But that's not true, because
No.
if you're not dealing with, in my opinion, it's got to be a prick that you're dealing with to get any kind of response back. And 9 times out of 10, you're not dealing with that. You're just dealing with somebody that could be very, very nice. And so
Yeah.
I've learned to be more respectful now than I was when we first started, just for the simple fact, yes and please go a long way in the afterlife, to where you can catch amazing footage just for being nice.
But exactly, it's right. I don't taunt. I never taunt. I will shout back if they start being rude to me, but I never taunt. And we get some amazing evidence by doing that. But you've got to think as well, if you look at spirits in like the people.
Yeah.
If you come up to me, you've never met me before, you walk in my house and you start shouting at me, then most people would start to panic and shut down.
Yeah.
Unless they're really like you're saying, unless they're aggressive themselves, then they're going to go, come back at you. But most people, especially if they're young spirits or children spirits or more timid spirits, people have anxiety in real life. Now imagine as a spirit, so coming in shouting at them is just going to make them withdraw, in my opinion.
No.
I mean, I always say that the only thing we're the exact same in this life as we are in the next life. The only thing we're missing is a body. We're just missing our personality, everything. We take we take that ways. That goes ways. So as the dean says, if somebody shouts at you in the physical life, the last thing you're going to want to do is talk to them.
Yeah.
You're going to. I mean, I've done it once. I done it once at the Mackenzie tomb, but I'm getting back way months and months ago. I done it once. You're a big man in life. You would come on and show me that sort of thing. And then I spoke to more people, and they were saying, I mean, we're all still learning. That's the thing about paranormal. I think there's no experts. None of us are experts.
Uh-uh.
And some people tell me, don't shout at them. Just treat them with respect and what have you. And that's how we went. After that. But you guys think it's a learning process, basically, the paranormal.
Yeah, I mean it's constantly learning. It's always evolving, because you're literally talking to nothing, but it's actually something. And so you will never know the afterlife until your time on this earth is passed. And then I guess you could become an expert at that point. Because trust
Aye,
me,
well, you
if
get kind of.
come back and haunt, I'm gonna mess with some people. It's gonna be poltergeist 911. I'm throwing everything I could possibly throw to scare the crap out of people.
I was going to ask you that. That's one question I was going to ask you. So, say one morning, goes out, you wake up dead. All right. I don't want you to die, I don't mean that in a bad way. They think, right.
This show just got really dark.
So one day you wake up and you're dead.
You wake up. Well, I mean, I've heard the theory that spirits, some spirits choose to stay in one location where they felt happiest, or, the unfinished business scenario, whatever. But in general, spirits can basically go anywhere. You know, that's another theory. So say you got up one morning dead, you wouldn't get up because you were dead, you know what I mean? And you suddenly realise, you know, I'm dead, I can go anywhere, I can haunt anybody. Where would you go?
Oh man, who would I haunt?
Who's in your hit list? I mean,
For fun, or
I mean, just if you had a choice, who would you haunt?
I think I would do it more as a protection, maybe. I think that's kind of the way our culture kind of is. You know, I will always be there, kind of deal.
So you'd be there to protect the people you love and keep
Oh.
anything negative away.
On a certain person.
No,
No,
I'll be walking down the street pushing people. I guess I don't know. I'll be.
I mean,
an
yeah.
animal like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
But for me, like I said, in our culture, I mean, they say, you know, parents go to heaven or whatnot. They watch over us. So I'm thinking for us, it's more of a protection thing rather than a haunting. So for me, it will be more something like that. You know, I'll be around my kids or something. You know, that's kind of what it'd be for me, more of a protecting thing.
I would go to a college and mess with college kids. We all know they're doing stuff they don't need to be doing. You know, a lot of them, and hey, there's nothing better to do than mess with somebody when they're high. So, I mean, I would definitely be that guy. You know, grab their little whatever device they're using and shake it at them, and I would be that guy. I'm going to the total party and messing with people.
Go find the smart ass playing with a Ouija board, thinking it's fun.
Exactly.
James for Hectic Paranormal, same as Kate was in the chat as well there for Australia. There's experts in certain areas of photography and video. I can't say that one. Videography. I suppose James right. You know, you get experts with cameras and videos and stuff.
Yeah,
so you go to a frat party.
Yeah, I'm definitely. But yeah, when you get into like video taking and photography, I think you're expert in that field. It's necessarily not paranormal. Yeah, they're really good at taking what they're doing. I mean, it's kind of like us. I mean, we're what you would call flooring experts. I own a flooring store. Him and I have been in the flooring business over combined almost 50 years. So when he's talking about flooring, yeah, we're experts. But so I think that's just kind of the field they're in, like videography and photography. I think they're experts in those fields. Maybe not. I guess you could label it kind of a paranormal, but I wouldn't necessarily call it 100% an expert.
Oh, you could do like a whole taps thing. Like you could have people phone you and go, oh, yeah, I need my floor laying, and okay, what color wood do you want? What type of wood? Right, would be right there. And do like
That's funny.
like clips of you laying the wood, and then be like, oh, there's a ghost in this house. Oh my god, there's your show. Got it. There you go.
That was actually one of our first homes. They had contacted us through Jack's. We went over there. Obviously, we didn't know these people from anything. We went over there, and like I said, I've been in flooring for a very long time. They had ugly floors. I gave them background on us. Said, hey, you know, I own a flooring store. Your floors are really ugly, and sure enough, they ended up buying flooring.
I own a flooring store. Your floor's shit. Get it off. Get a new one.
Pretty much. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. But no, I mean,
maybe your ghost attached to your carpet.
I mean, you never know.
How bad does a floor have to be for you to go in and go, look, let's talk about this?
Yeah, we know what's
not that.
I don't know what's scary, your ghost or your floor. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what's scary.
I mean, you've got to realize when you've been staring at floors for as long as we have. I mean, we will point out when your floors are ugly, and obviously, you know, I try to go about it in a nice way. But I mean, they literally had 1960, 1970 hotel carpet in their house, and I'm like, man, y'all really need to update this. And sure enough, you know, they luckily they did.
Yes, some business. Jem is, I know exactly what Jem means, and I do agree with they're able to debunk certain videos and photographs with their expertise. That's happened to us a couple of times with photographs, Jem. We've sent away.
I'm a little bit lost because she said we have experts on certain areas of paranormal. As in, like, she's just telling people that her group has experts on paranormal and photography and videography.
No, she means as a whole, we have, you know, the paranormal community.
Right.
But
And she,
in my
But
opinion,
actually, sorry, go on.
in my opinion, that's his opinion. I mean, yes, we can tell if a video has been faked. You can look at, I posted one yesterday, perfect example of a video being faked. You can tell that, but if you're not really there,
Yeah.
it's hard to say. You say, I mean, you can tell when somebody purposely fakes something, but you know, you can't honestly say, man, that picture, yeah, that can't be real.
Yeah, or you could say like a door opening. You are there and you know fine well yous are the only people there. And the door swings open and people go, well, it's fake, someone pushed the door.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. I mean that happens a lot. And then they expect you to run in there and it's like, I don't want to be there.
I had someone comment on I've got a video. Basically I'm using Spirit Box and clear as day, you can ask Scott, it comes through going, because I say, like, it wasn't making any sense. I went, well, you're being unintelligible at the moment. It goes, I'm a demon, and it's clear as day. And my friend goes, if you're a demon, touch the pony on the head. We've got a REM pony. And then literally about, 10, 15 seconds later, the pony gets pushed over and it goes flying. And then I heard someone say in the comments, well, why wasn't someone filming the pony? Well, wait there, we only had the one camera. We were live. You know, this was all live, but we only had the one camera. We couldn't be. You do actually see me in the video go up, put the pony down, set the stuff up, and then he does film it back. But because he wasn't filming the pony at the exact moment that it went, I mean, he films it literally a second after it falls, and you hear it going off. Because he didn't film the pony, well, you know, why wasn't he filming the pony? Well, because we only had one camera.
And if we knew that it was going to happen, we would have. But then
exactly.
Funny part is, film it, then people are like, no, it's fake.
It's fake, yeah.
You're just like,
you can't win. You cannot do right for doing wrong.
That happened to us last year. We were doing a graveyard and we catwalked sitting in a catwalk with a solid metal railing, and the railings were into a concrete plinth kind of thing. And I was standing with the camera, you know, doing the live, and I turned to the left, just a fraction. The camera on the cat ball, and I turned to the left, just a fraction, and the cat ball went out of sight. And just after that, it flew off the railing. And Chris, maybe one of the team had pinged it. I says, anybody nobody's touched that. And that was just a split second.
Yeah.
And then the cat ball flew off.
That's it.
It's one of these. I don't think you can cover every single aspect of an investigation.
No.
You know, have you seen something like that happen to you guys? You know, you've moved the camera, or you know, something's happened beside you, and you've just missed it.
Well, we have now learned. We flood a place now. When we go, like I said, we have
excuse me,
16 CC cameras that we can set up in locations that we try to cover every square inch of an investigation. But no, there was, golly, we were in there was an actual haunted house. Like it was an actual place that people went to get scared, and it's actually really haunted. And we had one of the cameras set up, and I can't remember, was it like a cabinet or something open? But at the time that cabinet was opening, something moved that camera, and so that cabinet's like starting to swing open, and boom, the camera moves, and you're just like, man, how is that even possible? I mean,
yeah.
You're second floor. Nobody was.
Yeah, it was one of the weirdest things. Like you would see lights coming from that room, but then the camera doesn't always catch it. So we sat there. There's the video of us running out of a cemetery, Tony screaming like a girl. Him and I both heard chanting, and it sounded like 100 people were surrounding us. So a little backstory: we were in somewhere down South Texas. I think it was Willis, Texas. It was very heavily in the 1980s part of the Ku Klux Klan. Obviously, I'm white. Tony's Hispanic. Kendrick is African American. My best friend lives kind of in that area. We meet him at a little kind of dive bar restaurant to eat dinner. And obviously, Tony and Kendrick are the only people of color there. They still spelled country club in this city with a K and a K. So you knew what you were coming up on. And so we get to this cemetery, and that's what it felt like. It literally felt like people with pitchforks and fire coming around.
Yeah.
And so, him and I have both heard the chanting the entire time, and we run out of that cemetery. At one point, you hear me actually scream, "Oh my gosh, somebody's at my window," because I literally saw kind of like this, but just blank, scared the crap out of me. And this is as we're driving.
Well, like a person on the car, like that.
On my window, and it scared the living crap out of me.
We're driving.
And we're driving. And so we go back 2 weeks later in the middle of the day, and we had the Ovilus, Ovilus 5. We were using it. We kind of look around this cemetery, and we find out it was supposed to be a World War I memorial cemetery. Well, we find out the majority of probably 90% of the people that were buried there were children. And so we're getting ready to leave, and Tony's brother's with us, and he said, "Hey, I'm hungry. Let's go." Well, the Ovilus clearly says, "Drive safe." And we think it was kids because it was kind of a rundown cemetery. We think it was kids that were messing with us because you can't hear the chanting. You can't hear anything but supposedly me screaming. I still think it was Tony doing the screaming, but that's all you can hear. Like we had 3 different cameras.
No sense.
One of them completely died during, and we had, they were completely charged. One of them completely died. My helmet cam that I wear is a body cam on my head. No chanting. Tony's camera that he had, there was nothing. I mean, you're literally hearing crickets, but Tony and I both heard this chanting. And like I said, I thought it was real people coming after us.
Yeah. Next time you go back there, if you ever go back there, you might want to stand there. And if you hear it again, just say, "Look, this kind of behavior is exactly why you're stuck in your assholes."
That's not nice.
No, that is fucking nice. That's a nice way to put it.
Our next big adventure, we're trying to get set up. It's in Kentucky, in which Kentucky for us is about a 14, 15-hour drive. Bishop James Long, if you ever seen Ghost Adventures, he's the guy that's on there.
I've got him on my Facebook.
Yeah, he does all those paranormal. So I was he has been there, and he said that is the scariest place that he has ever been. And so I was like, hey, where a better big location for Jax to go than a place where they do satanic rituals?
Where is it you're going? Wilder.
Gates of Hell's in Kentucky. It's an old cemetery that they still use for animal sacrifice and other stuff. And so I figured that's the next big place for us.
Yeah, sounds great. So you are so willing to drive like 18 hours just to do stuff. Scott's trying to get me to go up to Scotland. It's 3 hours up the road, and I'm like, it's quite far to go for an investigation. Like, and you're just like, yeah, it's 3 days drive. Who cares? Let's go. Yeah. Well, that's the difference in America that I've noticed, that you are so willing just to get up and go and drive for like days, and we're just like, gotta be home for tea, you know.
Well, the Hill House that we went to, what is that? It's like a 4 or 5 hour drive from us.
Right, right.
Yeah, it was about 5 hour drive, and we just piled in the little Jack's RV, took it down to Mineral Wells, and did our. But I mean, yeah, no, I mean, when you live in the Texas Panhandle where we are, there's a lot of driving. Like our next biggest cities away from us, Lubbock's 2 hours away. DFW's 6 hours away. Oklahoma's 4. I mean, so you're gonna drive, and
Yeah.
I will fly. So
That's the difference between. I talk to a lot of people, in American news guys. Sometimes I can't keep track of the time zones,
Yeah.
because I'll talk to people on the East Coast, the West Coast, in the middle, and the South, and it's all different times. And we done a live last year with 7 or 8 different people, and they all came from different parts of America. So see, trying to put that together, it was a nightmare because it was, well, that's 1 a.m. for me, that's 10 p.m. for me, it's 5 a.m. for me, and it's just overload. I mean, the UK's tiny, but I mean, America's a bit like Australia. That's where Kate and James from. They're from Australia, and they'll drive for hours and hours, same as you. I would drive for hours and hours. Nadine's just she's scared to come to Scotland.
Well, do you know what, right? If I lived somewhere nice and warm like Australia or Texas, I might be willing to drive. But you're asking me to go from cold to even colder.
Admit to Nadine, you don't understand the language. That's what it is. I mean,
Yeah, that's it. It's totally. I wouldn't have a clue how to.
Kate's got a question for you guys. She's the other half of Hectic Paranormal with James. Do you think knowing the history of the place beforehand affected your experiences, guys?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry.
The history of the place beforehand.
So knowing the history of the place does it affect you? Sometimes, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because like the Haunted Hill House is very well publicized, and there's people that are getting drug out of beds, and so I think it's already built up in your mind that it's a scary place, and it is a scary place. But I think sometimes that it'll make you kind of see things that aren't there.
Yeah, it makes you overthink stuff. So I'm that they got dragged out, and so I'm just kind of expecting for it to happen.
See, I don't like knowing the history of places. I'm like you. I like to go in and find my own evidence and then back it up if I can.
Videos from that house. It's just, I mean, it's just kind of hard not to watch them.
Yeah, and that's
we kind of knew what we were going up against.
So
like this place in Kentucky you're going to, you know about it because it's
kind of that was the first thing that I'd ever heard, and I'm like, if the Catholic bishop is telling me that this is like one of the most haunted places, and this guy obviously been all over the world, and I'm like, hey, yeah, I mean, I don't see this full of BS like some of these people do. And so I'm like, well, if they saw what I believe was either a demon or the Mothman, they saw that, then hey, that's something I want to see. That's like me going to Scotland. FYI, I don't know if you could tell, we are relatives. I am.
Did you just point to your beard?
Yeah, the red.
And the ginger and be like, yeah, I'm Scottish.
I'm 90. I did my DNA test. I am 98. I think it's 97% Scottish and English. So,
I'm waiting for mine to come back. I'm waiting for my DNA test to come back.
It's extremely interesting to find that that's where my roots, because we always thought we were German. And to find out that, we're actually Scottish and English, I was like, man,
I'm so sorry for you.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know Scotland and England were on the same island.
I'm Scottish as well. Don't worry. Don't shoot me, Scottish people. I'm half Scottish.
Yes, I think it's amazing the amount of people. I mean, we've done over 200 interviews with all different kind of people, and see the amount of people that are part Scottish or you know, the Scottish ancestors. It's always Scotland, hardly ever England. I think this is one of the first ones. You know,
I'm pretty sure it's the
Okay.
same island. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's all the same
I
little.
don't know where's that.
I
That's all the same.
see Tony's
Canada, I
Tony.
had to put that.
This out of the lake.
Hmm.
My parents come from Mexico, so
I was gonna say Italian, but you know,
I'm
But get back to what we were saying about the history. Sometimes you can't help, you know, as that Kentucky place, well, you can't help but know the history of a place, and
Yeah.
that's what kind of attracts you as well. But with Kate's question, earlier on, when she was saying about the experience, that's what kind of thing I was talking about with the Covenanters prison, because we know the history. Your mind's already in overdrive before you kind of go into it. So I suppose it'll be the same for you guys with the place in Kentucky as well. You know,
Yeah.
you've heard everything
Yeah.
about it.
I'll build it up because I'm excited. I'm the guy that I love to be scared. My wife can tell you we just finished the Annabelle Conjuring series, probably for the, I don't know, fourth or fifth time since they came out. I'm the guy that loves to be scared. I don't get scared as often, but I will still get scared. And so, knowing this place, I'm going to try not to do any research about it, just because I don't want it to affect our going to it, our investigation as much. But yeah, no, I want him to be terrified before we go there. A lot of times he doesn't believe half the crap I say. So,
But then couldn't it cause it to be a letdown if you've overhyped it? Like,
yes.
oh my god, you know, shit's gonna happen, it's just gonna be falling off the wall, ghosts are gonna be rapping with us, or you know, I don't know where that came from, but you know, and then you get there and you like sat there for 3 hours and nothing.
Yeah, yeah. That's what. Yeah, it's happened before, and that's where. So we're at it was called Hell's Gates in Lubbock. There was supposedly no paranormal crew that had lasted until 3 a.m. You know, this is supposed to be one of the scariest places. People were murdered. We went there, and honestly, yeah, there was some activity, but you know, I think when we leave like 4 a.m., it was like, man, I don't see why everybody left so stinking early because it wasn't that bad.
we never really got really frightened. I mean, maybe spooked or something, but never.
I got told that about a place we investigated. We've been there a few times now, and the owner was like, "Oh, we had one crew go in, and they has to be like, because he does lock you in there, like they has to be let out 2 hours after they're in there." And I was like, "Why?"
We did again Greyfriars. I watched a YouTube video months and months ago. This guy done Greyfriars at 3 a.m. in the morning, and you know his meter was going off and all bits and pieces were happening. So we did it. We weren't copying, but I was curious, you know, more than anything. So we went along. So you know, we're going to give that a try. We went along, and the only thing we got was battery drainage. That was it. You know, our batteries lasted about 15 minutes each.
But
And
could that? I'm not being funny, but could that not be because it's cold in Scotland and batteries?
that's what I mean. That was the most exciting thing that happened to us. Our batteries drained.
Yeah.
It was a joke. See, she does not understand Scottish humour.
Sorry, missed that one.
We went at 3 a.m. expecting, you know, something, and
I guess we haven't been to Scotland.
you guys are okay. You are on the other side of the pond. I'm in the same kind of country as her. You know what I mean?
He has to put up with me.
But I've never been to New York or anywhere like that, so you know.
Next bit of comment up, that was the same for us when we investigated Bobby Mackey's Music World a decade ago. Other than a brief cold spot, we never felt any intense or demonic activity.
I've heard that a lot from Bobby Mackey's, to be honest, and stuff I've read about it. Like people have gone and they're like, well, it's just overhyped bull crap.
Yeah, I think it's just to the fact to where it was made famous and people,
Commercialized it.
yeah, I mean they rent it out just like a lot of these other places do. And when you constantly are renting stuff out to people, uh,
Yeah.
it just, oh well, this person caught that.
And
Like you said, sometimes the spirits may not even want to do bother with you.
Ghost Adventures, season 1, episode 1, Bobby
Yeah,
Mackey's. Mm.
I mean, we've got an American team. Jennifer, she stays in Oregon, but she's originally from California, and she spoke a lot about places charging extortionate amounts of money to for people to investigate. Do you see the same kind of thing in Texas?
yeah, like the haunted hill house we had to pay to go, uh, but they let you stay the night. They have every piece of ghost hunting equipment you can ever imagine, so they let you use it.
Drinks, snacks.
Yeah, drinks, snacks. You can sleep there if you're comfortable sleeping inside the house. They do it up right, at least to it would be like staying in a hotel. They kind of treat it like
So
that.
that they make it worth it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean they really do. But yeah, no, there's other places that uh, we've paid to gone. Yeah, they offer drinks and snacks, but you're kicked out at 2 o'clock in the morning. And you're just kind of like, well, we kind of wanted to do more, but there's
Yeah.
not a lot you can do.
We had
I know
that
that
here. When you going, Nadine? Sorry, I
I
interrupted.
was gonna say I know there's places here that'll charge you like £500, and like it's a DOS house. Like there's no running water, there's no electricity, there's nothing there. There's rats. There's and they're charging people £500 a night to stay there or to investigate there. And it's like, really, where's the money going? You're charging £500 a night. At least get some electric.
Yeah,
Get rid of the rats. So
I
we have that
contacted
problem
the
here. Greed. It's pure greed.
Aye, that's exactly the word for it. I contacted a place. Well, we contacted way last year, and they were wanting something like £1,200, which I think would
Mm,
be the equivalent maybe $1,000, round about that kind of mark
yeah.
for 3 hours. That was it.
I mean,
Usually 3 hours we thought.
the the thing is, the only way you can really afford stuff like that sometimes is to go in groups. But if you go in a big group, as you know, it ruins it. There's
yeah,
no point in going. So
yeah. The
You,
haunted hill house, which was $500 US, it was just the four of us. So
yeah,
uh, it was well worth it as far as the experience and the evidence we caught. Was it $500 worth of evidence? Probably not. We caught cool stuff though. So I mean, uh, that's mainly what that's for.
yeah,
It was fun.
it
I
sounds
mean,
great.
in Edinburgh, some of the prices are quite crazy kind of thing, and I've got people who charge £30 to take you around Greyfriars. Whereas, Greyfriars is open 24 hours a day. So you can walk in day or night,
Yeah,
walk around yourself, but you get people who, they'll pay with maybe £30, whatever, for somebody to walk around with them.
mm.
And these people are making an absolute fortune.
Yeah. Like we looked at the one of Ghost Adventures as well when they came to England, the ancient Ram Inn, and I looked at going to investigate there, but like for a few hours there, it's like £75 per person with a minimum of 10 people. Like it's in like a group setting, and it's like, what is the point in going? It's a tiny little cottage. You probably couldn't even fit 10 people in it, But it's these places that they've been like Bobby Mackey's and um, the Ancient Ramin and Edinburgh Vaults. It's these big shows where it's capitalism, isn't it? Really, they're capitalizing on it. They see it like they've made it famous, and they think, how can we extort people by doing it? I'm not saying that people don't have the right to make a profit on of stuff, but there's profit and there's extortion. There's a difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Fine line.
Like during the October months, uh, we offer a service that you get to we'll take you to a cemetery. What are we, like $20? we charge like $20 to do it, but you get a free T-shirt and you get to use our equipment. We're with you. We don't do big groups. It's usually 2 or 3 people that want to experience,
Yeah.
and it's basically educational. And honestly, the money goes for the T-shirt. I mean,
Yeah.
our T-shirts are $15-20 a pop, and so I mean, really, you're just paying for the T-shirt, but we get to go ghost hunting with them, so we're not going to say no.
Kathy made a comment there. It's much quite go around with a guy around Greyfriars with a teenager with a Harry Potter fetish for 3 years. There is a lot of Harry Potter people go. You see them when you get into Greyfriars. No harm with Harry Potter. I'm not a fan. There's millions of people worldwide that is. You can go to the shop there. It's just, sorry if I feel, I've watched the films, but they're too complicated for me. I'm Scottish. And
You've started a divide here now, Scott. The whole channel's going to be an uproar over Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. Huge.
Kathy, you come with Greyfriars.
And that, guys, is the end of tonight's show.
Because I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I don't know. I mean, the women's the women. J.K. Rowling's amazing. What she created, what have you. But it's for me. Sorry. We investigated Fort George in Niagara in the late, and they charged $400 for 2 hours.
That's a lot.
It's just ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
So, silly question. I take it that's quite extortion. Extortionate.
Yeah. No, and I think they do. I think it's wrong of them to do it, but I don't know who to say how much to charge to do a paranormal investigation. I mean,
yeah,
$200.
I mean, of course, they've got upkeep and stuff like that to take care of.
Yeah,
so.
$200 an hour. I mean, that's a little
it's extortion.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure that's pretty far up north, so things are more expensive up there. But isn't that where Niagara's at? Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, we don't have a clue where he's talking about.
It's the Niagara Falls.
Not Niagara Falls. I mean, if you weren't Niagara Falls, my bad.
But at least it seems to be like a global thing. It's not just one country that extorts the, paranormal. It's a worldwide thing. We should start a riot.
You go your
revolution.
Let us know you can up Kathy Doll, and we shall certainly hook up. So getting back to Jack's Paranormal, I see the Harry Potter and stuff, you've probably been asked this a load of times, and I'm not a big tech fan. I like the K2 meter and the laser grid. That's basically it. I'm not a big tech fan because half of it I don't know how to work it, to be honest with you. What about you guys? I've spoken to a lot of teams. Some prefer tech, some prefer old school. Like a compass or something like that. What about you guys? What's your kind of preference?
We do all of them. So we'll use, an SLS camera. We'll use a spirit box. We'll use dowsing rods. We try to use everything. I'm not a huge fan of the apps that are out there that people are using. I just sometimes we've caught, I think necrophonics is really big right now. We've caught it repeating itself. I think that they kind of listen into your conversations throughout the day. And, but sometimes, I mean, hell, they're spot on. We were sitting there in a haunted barn, and I was back in an area that I probably shouldn't have been. And you hear plain and clear, "Get out!" And I'm like, did that thing just tell me to get out? So sometimes they can be spot on, but sometimes I'm just kind of like, it's harder on some of the newer technology for me, I guess, just to wrap my mind around it. But I mean, hell, if a ghost can mess with radio waves, who am I to say they can't mess with cellular waves as well?
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
What was your view on the tech side, Tony?
On the what?
On the tech the gadget side, the tech side.
I'm skeptic on all of it. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, he can tell you that. I mean, just everything. I think one way or the other, it's been manipulated, or I mean, just I'm just skeptic on everything. For me, it's more the way I feel. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the senses that I get, and how that I go off of that. All the texts. I think the only one is what is it? The K2, the one we can the radio waves. Yeah, basically that's the only one that I think. But even that one, I get close to a plug or something, and I say, okay, it's the electric current. That's what's making it go off. So all the tech, honestly, I'm real skeptic on it. I think only one time that I actually thought it was, that I believed on it a little bit was the SLS camera. I had a feeling in my shoulder, and I said, "Hey," pointed to my shoulder, and there was a little figure in my shoulder. My ear started ringing, and I felt it. So
Mm-hmm.
I turned around, checked my shoulder. I mean, and it was on the spot on. So maybe that was the only time that I actually was like, "Oh man, that was cool." But other than
You knew there was
that,
definitely.
I'm a big skeptic on everything. If it's not in a picture or a camera where I can actually see it, I won't believe it. And that's kind of the way I am.
And I believe everything.
And he hates it that I do that, but I mean, we're two different worlds.
We're the yin and the yang.
Well, that's it. But it's a good combination. I mean, I believe in the paranormal. I have for the last 30 years, but I'm still skeptic. As Tony says, you said the absence of Tony. The K2 meter. I know radio waves, and so many things that can interfere with them. So, but I think that's a good thing, Tony, to have, is that skeptic in you, and then unlike yourself, Jason jumps on the paranormal every
Oh,
time.
if it wasn't for his skeptic, I would look like such an ass because the majority of stuff that I think is paranormal, he easily shows me, no, this was, you can see right here, you're next to a breaker box or something like that, to
Mhm.
where I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a shadow. He's like, oh bro, that's me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm that guy. Oh, it's paranormal. And he's like, hey,
See, I'm like Tony. I like to look for the natural before the supernatural.
Yeah.
My friend who investigates with me, Sam, he's like you. He thinks everything is paranormal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten better. But yeah, no, I'm still like we have cameras running on one of our haunted dolls 24/7, and she's casted shadows, she's turned on and off the lights, she's done really, really cool stuff to where even this guy's like, well, shit, she really is haunted.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid.
And the lights are on, and the lights turn on without triggering the alarms. I mean, there's something going on. So
I mean, like the K2 meter. I know, as I say, people are skeptic here. I believe it, but it's when you've got the K2 meter sitting for maybe something to us 15, 20 minutes, sitting dormant, as I call it, nothing. And then you ask a question and say, make it go to yellow, and it goes to yellow, then straight back down. And that happens on demand. That's hard to debunk, that kind of thing. The only paranormal apps that I think are legit and actually work are the Echo Vox, Spectrophonics, Sony X10, and EV.
See, with necrophonics, I do agree with you. I've heard it repeat like different things. Like you hear certain names and certain noises all the time. But I think you've got to listen for the in-between bits that are not repeated. Because I do think it has words in it. I do. Whether they say it has or not, it does repeat itself. I've watched other people use it and it says the same things as we've got. But then there is bits like the sentence that said, I'm a demon. I will send you the video. And it's clear as day. It's a full sentence, same tone. I'm a demon. I am a demon. And you can't debunk that because it's not using phonics or anything. It's a voice that literally comes through and says it clearly. And I think also you've got to listen for the in-between. So you've got to learn to, I think you learn to know what is being repeated and what's been said and what to ignore. And then you're more attuned to listen out to the bits that are actually voices.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think we had a couple that the noise stops, and then you hear a sentence, and then
Yeah.
so I mean, we have had those where it
Yeah.
does sound really weird because it stops the app, you hear the sentence, the word or whatever, and then the app continues.
Well,
So,
and like he's saying, sometimes that app can say things that it doesn't know. Believe it or not,
Mm.
I used to be 170 pounds, way over that hill. My nickname used to be Slim. His nickname is Duke. His brother's nickname's Dash. An app is not going to know that.
No.
Necrophonics, we've heard it say Duke, Slim, and Dash. We've heard it say that. So things like that, you're
in
like,
a matter of like 15 seconds. So I
yeah,
mean, that's just unexpected. So,
and you're
Mhm.
like, okay. But then, like I said, there's times that it's repeat yourself, and you're just like,
Mm.
especially when it does that. Oh yeah, and you're just like,
Yeah.
again,
that's the one that real stands out.
Do that again. Do that again.
yeah.
Go on. Do it again.
Yeah. Laura
I want
saying,
to hear the impression again.
They say you do it again.
Yeah.
Laura saying that this happened to us a few weeks ago. We done a castle.
Oh,
We did a castle a few weeks ago, and with 4 individual names of team members came through the necrophonic quite clear. The team members that were there. So I don't know how we can't debunk that. As you say, some words repeat, but when you get an actual sentence or you get like 4 names in a row or your nicknames, you
Yeah.
that's
you can't debunk that.
that's undeniable, and you can't. But that's the same way. I mean, how many times when you're using the spirit box to where you hear a quick yes? I mean, yes, it's scanning as fast as it can. We use the I think the SB11 to where it's going forward, backwards, AM, FM, and you hear a quick yes, and you're just
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know
we even in that one at the cemetery, we asked it if you want us to leave, and it gave us a yes, but a real extended yes,
yeah,
kind of like
those
yes.
those quick ones are a little harder to not say that it's just a radio station that you picked up. But
Mhm.
the long ones, you're just kind of like,
Yeah. So they, again, it stopped the app, and it said yes. So we're like, okay, it's time for us to go.
man, we did.
No,
Yeah.
well, we went to the next door.
It's time we run out of cemetery. You know what I mean? But see, I think anything electrical, I'm not an expert, but it can be interfered with, But what about old school? I mean, we bought a compass last year. We've only used it once so far. We never get any result with it, but we're going to keep trying and trying it. What about kind of old school methods, like compass or a candle, or bits of string hanging down, kind of stuff like that?
Yeah, we do. We did. I think it was a haunted farmhouse that we did, to where we ran a string with these little bitty bells on it for hopefully the spirits communicate with us. Like I said, we try to do a little bit of everything. The hottest technology versus, hey, I'm in a house, I'm in a closet, no windows, blow out the candle. We try to do uh, everything just to, I don't, just to help kind of show that it's real.
Have you ever, you say you use 16 cameras, have you ever had cameras turn off by themselves? We've had it a couple of times. Have you ever, imagine with 16 cameras.
We haven't had a camera as far as any of those actually turn off by themselves. Like I said, we've had them move, uh, but we've never actually had them gone. Yeah, no, we've never had them actually gone off unless it was because we did something. Because when we were in
We
that,
had one had kind of a blind spot where it stopped recording and it started.
we've had them where
Like a 15-minute.
somehow the technology messed up, uh, to where it didn't save to the DVR. Like we were recording our haunted doll, and a light comes on, and there's a 15 minutes on the one camera that you expect to see something on, to where it just jumped.
It
And
went
you
blank
can't
out.
you can't see what happened in that time frame. We've had that, but I don't think we've had them go off. as far as just going black without us actually doing something.
Have you ever had a location where your footage just hasn't worked out at all for no reason? You know, you've been home and looked back at it and there's been nothing there.
So what you saying?
Yeah, so anything that's ever like been knocked out, I mean, just really tools.
Oh, the tools we have, a video, and I did a bad job of recording it. It's on a flat table, and it's a little soccer ball or basketball, and it's just sitting there, and you can see it move, and it's something had to push it pretty good uh, to make it move. But I posted the video, and because I'm recording from off of a DVR, it made the table look a little slanted. Then I've reposted it a couple of times, but it still kind of looks like the table was slanted. And then you can see me clearly in the investigation. Put the ball back. We were there another 3 hours, and that thing never moved. Uh, so I mean, we've had stuff like that, but as far as we'll catch stuff here at the shop. We've had a nail gun that's been sitting on a compressor, and it's been sitting there for a while, a couple of days, and then all of a sudden, boom, it falls off, and we go and run and go see what it was. We find out what it was. We'll obviously I have other cameras in my store as well, and we'll sit there and watch those, and you're just kind of like, what knocked that over? And then we get our equipment and we'll go investigate. We had what we call Lisa. We believe to be a little girl spirit, about 7, 8 years old. And
Mm-hmm.
you can see in one of the thermal pictures, you can see my arm, and then you can see what would appear to be a small child holding my hand. And so, I mean, it was caught like right after the nail gun had gotten flipped over. That was probably, in my opinion, one of our better catches. But a lot of people, they want to see a video and something falling over. They're just not huge fans. Like they've got to see the damn devil running at you before they believe.
We had a clip last year. We've still got it, but it was a K2 meter. We had it just sitting on the ground beside a wall on the left hand side. In a corner, and the K2 meter was there, and we started to get a wee bit of activity on it, and then it just got knocked over. And there wasn't any wind because there was a brick wall next to it, and it just kind of get knocked over. Now, the reason I was asking about the cameras get turned off and stuff is because, and I've asked a few people this. There's I was going to say skeptics, but these kind of non-believers, they say, "Oh, it's all coincidence."
Yeah.
But I don't believe that. I don't believe it's coincidence. I mean, it happens all over the world with different teams. Battery drainage, equipment, cameras going off, all different. I don't think it's coincidence. What about you guys?
I mean, spirits use energy anyway from our understanding, any way that they can, and whether it's pulling it from a camera to help do whatever they want to do, or going through. I've spent a lot of money on our equipment. We take care of it. We take batteries out. We've gone to investigations, brand new batteries in equipment, and then by the time we leave, they're completely corroded. And you're just kind of like, what happened for that to actually? You don't even take it out of the box sometimes, but spirits pull energy however they can. Like I said, that's one of those gray areas to where we don't know, but we all believe that they pull energy now.
And it's always so. What about the para hangover? You ever get a para hangover?
Yeah. Usually that's when we've something's used our energy a lot, and when we first started doing some of these, it would take a day or two for me to recover uh, from the investigation, because one, you're putting your heart and soul into it, and two, on some instances, we've been known to let them use our energy, and it's very, very draining the next 24, 48 hours afterwards.
I think everybody, I don't know, you know, I think everybody I've spoke to, I'm the same. Our team's the same. The next day, you're knackered
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
you're there, but you don't realise it at the time.
yeah.
But you
We've
are
had it where
getting, drained.
we've had it where we've not been well for a few days after, where you're just that drained, you just can't function, kind of thing. You're like you've got a flu.
Yeah, like we left the haunted Hill House, and I think it was it the same day next day.
We came back the same day.
I think it was. I think it might have. Can't remember if it was the same day, but we have spiritual advisors. I sent them some of the stuff that we caught, and they know what we do. They know it's dangerous. They've never commented on the stuff. They just say some prayers for us. But that was the only time they had called and said, "Go wash your feet. Whatever it is still attached to you. You need to pray this prayer, wash your feet, and you need to tell everybody to do the same thing." And
Yeah.
during the washing of the feet, saying the prayer, you could feel the burn on your feet. And
So the night that we came back from that investigation, I had a dream where I was still at the house.
I think we all did.
The next day, yeah. Well, I guess a couple of days later, when we all got back together, we all talked about it, and we all had the same dream, or basically that we were still in the house. And then until we did the whole washing of the feet, we stopped.
Yeah.
So I mean, it in a
So it
way,
worked.
something attached to us, and they were right. So
Yeah, Kathy that's just commented there. She actually taught, because I was having problems with things like that. She actually taught me like a grounded techniques for before and after of investigations, and they seem to really work.
So we don't have a bath. We've got a shower. I'd need to have a shower, like a grounding, because we don't know what
We
a
can get you
bath.
one of those little, do you know, like they used to in the old days, little baby baths. We'll just put you in one of them. Sit next to the
That
fire.
look like it fit inside a baby bath. Maybe my head or my feet, but that's about it.
bird
You know what I
bath.
mean?
I don't know. You could be you could be like this big for all we know, because I mean it's the camera.
I'd stand up and show you my head, but I've got my pajama bottoms on, and I don't mind it.
well, I'm 6'3", so a little bath is not going to work for me.
Oh God.
I'm 5'6". You know.
Easier.
What was the last time I measured myself?
See,
One more question. Sorry.
Yeah, y'all are both those little. That's the funny part. If you do watch some of our investigations, be aware you will see my butt a lot because of the height difference between Tony and myself. He has a tendency to film my tuchus a whole lot.
We have the same with our friend. He always films my boobs, and I always have to keep going, Sam, up here, up.
Yeah. I Tony, like, oh, just raise that. He's like, I'm short.
Is your butt covered up, but
What's worse is when he turns around because I'm filming him. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
as long as the butt's covered up, then I don't mind. We watched a live. What was it? I don't know. Dean was watching it. Not the name anybody. We watched a live last week, and it was mostly filming the
The
ground.
floor. Yeah, we were just
Floor.
filming the floor. Like, I'm like, there's a wall again, there's a floor. Yeah. I suppose
In a way,
it is difficult, especially when you're disoriented. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, if you join our lives on TikTok, we're definitely. I try not to, but I'm always the one holding the camera, so you're seeing what I'm seeing. But my deal is, same thing's going on here. You get all those questions, and then I try to answer all the damn questions instead of focus on what I'm there to do. And I'm like, damn it, somebody, take this away from me, where I'm not repeating myself.
I done what when we try to go out and about, and I try and do wee lives, on my phone, and a couple of times you're watching where you're walking, and you don't realise the angle you've got your phone at, you know. And sometimes I've watched it back. I don't watch a lot back because I hate the sound of my own voice. But sometimes I'll watch it back, and all you can see is up my nose.
Oh, jeez.
You know, because of the way you're holding the phone. But you don't realise when you're doing it. You know, you're walking about, you're blah, 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 and then you see right up my
How are
nose.
you filming that? You're just like that. Like,
No, you're kind of walking about like this, you know. But are you trying to show me the headstones or something?
well, why is the camera facing your nose?
Yeah, it's supposed to be going the other way.
I know.
Here,
I've done that.
that might
plenty
be your
of
problem, Scott.
Yeah, I've learned to not put my face. I am not the pretty guy, so I mainly feel what's in front of me. That way, people aren't like, "Oh, hey, who's that goofy redheaded guy?"
I'm the same. I'm the kind of ugly duckling of the team, but I don't care. You know, I'm still happy. I've still got the charm.
Yeah.
You know, looks on everything. One more question for you. You put another video up on the 14th or 16th of January, a ball falling down a stair. And I think there's something sitting at the bottom of the stair, but you see the ball coming down the stairs, and you're asking it, was this ball thrown?
That wasn't us.
Oh,
It's on your thingy.
Yeah, no, that was a buddy of mine's that they sent it to me, and I put it on our page. What it is it's an extremely haunted house, and you know they want obviously us to go investigate, but you know I've come to the realization that me being me, I get too excited on things, and so a lot of times you'll see me post on TikTok. Let me know what you think, because that's basically I'm asking the fans where they want to see us next. But yeah, no, that I don't know. I'm on that guy's house. I'm kind of torn in the middle. You know, some of it seems BS, and some of it seems like it could be true. And so I'm just kind of like I don't know. And so I'll ask the fans, you know, because that's what it's about. It's to get them interacting, and they'll say, yo, yeah, go do it, or no, it's fake. It's a bunch of BS is weak. I think I'll say my marketing.
Because I was running through your videos, and I spotted that video, and it was a ball bounced and it caught my eye. I know it was your video, but it kind of caught my eye. I thought I need to ask you about that video, because it is, you know, sometimes you just see a particular video and it just kind of catches your eye, kind of thing.
No, that one did from his house. I mean, it definitely did, but you know, at the same time, he sent me other videos that I know are bugs crawling on the camera. You know, so that's when he sent me the ball one, I was like, okay, this one's pretty hard to fake. And so that's when I posted it to see what everybody thought on that.
but do you think when he's sending you the bugs on the camera, he genuinely thinks it's paranormal and he just doesn't realize it's bugs?
Yeah.
And you having to explain to him, no, that's this.
Yeah. That's you know, before I would have believed it was all a ghost as well, but I have learned the difference between bugs and
I've seen one on a CCTV and you can see it's a cobweb going over, but people are like, oh my god, it's a ghost. And you know, by watching stuff you could see, no, it's a cobweb being blown. It's not something walking past, but it does look, if you know, at first glance, like it could be a ghost.
I think we had a photograph no last year, the year before, took at Greyfriars again, and it looked like an old man up against the church, and I put in a group that we were in at the time, you know, took a photograph at Greyfriars, what do you think? And this guy, a couple of days later, this guy got back in touch with me, and he was just what Jem was saying, he was writing, it was a photography expert kind of thing, and he came back and says, that's a plant pot. And he sent me, you know, he And true enough, it was a big one of these big, huge
Oh.
freestanding plant pots. He says, that's where you've got it. And I said, well, fair enough. But at the time when we were looking at the original photo, we're thinking, that kind of looks like an old man kind of thing. But we didn't say, this is a ghost. We says, what do you think of this photo? The guys were like, listen, mate, you've got a plant pot. Fair enough,
Yeah, but it's innocent, isn't it? It's not like you're trying to play it off as paranormal. You just didn't know. And I think that happens a lot, especially when you're new investigating. Like, you think a lot of stuff. Like, I've watched some of my videos back thinking, could I've really investigated that a bit more? Because you just don't. We're all learning. We're all, like we said, we all started at about the same time. And if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
We've took loads of photos, no doubt you have as well. And you look at them and you think you see something. But I think we all see things different.
Yeah.
And hear things different. So what I think might be, a blackbird, it might be a bat.
Yeah.
Somebody that's a bat. It's a blackbird, no, it's a penguin. It's just one of these kind of things, and we've had that a lot. But as Nadine says, it is a learning experience in the paranormal, and I think that's what makes it appealing as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not like doing a kind of college course. Think right. Well, I've done my course. I've passed my exams. That's me done.
Yeah.
End of story.
And that's when I always go back to supporting others. If say somebody posts a non-paranormal video that's supposed to be paranormal, I don't sit there and say, oh, that's BS. I'm a paranormal investigator, I know better. To that person it could be, and so who am I to tell them no? I know it's crap, but I'm not going to be like, oh man, your videos are a bunch of horseshit. I want to bring them up and support them, and there's times that I know it's not a great catch, but I'm like, man, I'll share the love, and I'm like, hey, great catch, guys, and I know it's not.
And that's what makes it fun. Everybody sees it in their own way.
Yeah.
Everybody sees something different. So
exactly, as you say. And I mean, we've done a couple of videos and they've been crap.
Yeah.
But we still put them up because we done one last year called The Darkest Mile in Edinburgh. And it was one of these things I had in my head how I wanted it to go and what have you. I wanted it to be kind of documentary sort of thing. But just the way we did it, was the first ever time we'd done it. But the way we'd done it, when we put it all together, we watched, we thought, but basically, I'm being polite when I say poop. But we still put it up,
Yeah.
Sarah, part of the co-founder, she's like, no, it's crap. I says, no, do you know what? We put the time and effort into that. So we might think we'll just put it up. And
you're not always going to catch paranormal gold. And that's where I always believe, to bring the person up and not bring them down. Because I don't ever want somebody to say that they got out of the paranormal because Jason was a dick to them. I don't be that. I don't want to be that guy. I want to mentor the younger generation that's coming up that's going to do this, because it is like we've all said, it's exploding, and I want to help guide them to where they don't make some of the mistakes that are out there. If they want my opinion, if they don't, I'm just gonna keep it damn out there. But that way, I'm not discouraging them to do something that we all love to do, because it's a passion that we all have.
Totally. See, if someone asks me, my advice and my opinion, so if I don't know the answer, I'll just tell them. I don't know. I know there are people out there, and I've been on panels with some of them. Way when we first started it, and people in chat would ask a question, and I'd be sitting in the panel with these other people, and they're like that, bump, and they're talking crap. And then they say, "Me, Scott, what do you think?" So, well, I don't know the answer, so I'm not going to comment.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and make up a whole load of BS just to make myself look good or, brainy or whatever. So to me, I'll answer anybody's questions, but if I don't know the answer, then I'll just tell them I don't know.
Yeah. No, and sometimes, more people respect you when you say that, hey, I don't know. There's somebody out there that might, but I don't have the answer for you.
Aye. Or I'll say, I don't know, but I'll try and find out for you.
Yeah.
Because I might know a lot more people than that person knows. And
Yeah.
I'll contact some people and say, look, you know the answer to this. And if somebody can help, then, fair enough. I think that's the thing about the paranormal, the community. That we've got that many different people, nice people, and everybody comes, 90% come together, as a community, but you've got that 10% or whatever that are just in it for the fame or to be better than another team or, whatever, our capture's better than your capture.
Yeah.
You caught one ghost, I caught 5.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
One up.
Yeah. I mean, that happens a lot because, a lot of those are male driven, testosterone, I piss further than you do. And, a lot of times that's some of the younger guys because their testosterone is still high. And they're just like, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm just like, bro, it's a damn ghost. You're not better than somebody that doesn't do this. I mean, the little lady walking down the street can have a more paranormal experience that we could see in our entire life. And she didn't even ask for it.
Aye, exactly. The same as these other teams that they go. We've all done it. We've been out, sat for, as you were saying earlier on, sat for 3 or 4 hours and got nothing. And you get up and you say, well, we've got nothing, so we're going home. But then you get other teams or groups, will turn around and they'll get nothing, but they'll make something up just so they can get, they can stick it in their video. They'll get somebody to throw a stone or something, whatever, just so they can say, we got something.
Yeah.
But I think it's a sign of a genuine team if they stand up and say, we've got nothing at all, we're going home.
Yeah.
Would you think? You're going quiet.
I have no idea what you just said.
Okay. When do you think it's a sign of a genuine team when they can hold their hands up and go, there's been an investigation, but we've caught nothing?
I think that's Scottish bit there. Sorry, just on. Still don't understand.
Yeah, I think you froze a bit.
Okay, now what was the question?
Okay, so you're saying that, do you think it's a sign that a team's more genuine when they can go out and they can hold their hands up and go, look, we got nothing?
How the hell did you understand that?
I'm getting used to him.
I did not get that at all. I thought he was getting robbed or something. I was like, but yes, I do believe go out there and say, we didn't catch crap. That's 100% more genuine.
There's no reason to lie.
I mean, some. You have to understand, you're maybe, besides in a movie, the second Scottish person I've ever heard talk. So,
oh God.
Yeah. So one, I'm intrigued by the way that you say things, and two, I don't have a clue what the hell you're saying sometimes. But I'm just like,
we need subtitles.
we need a little bit of subtitles. That'll help me out a little bit. But it's kind of like me when we say y'all, and I'm sure it's funny to y'all, you all, or I'm not sure how
y'all.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Scottish accent does throw.
By the way,
off.
When he says we, he means little, like small. We. He says we're on a wee investigation. It means we're on like a little investigation.
Oh, a wee investigation.
Translate for you.
I
And
knew
you're just like,
that.
what is he on about?
Tony didn't know that part.
All
I
right.
knew we, and when y'all, I think when y'all say I or something like that, that means yes.
Yeah.
I figured
I
that.
mean, yes, we up in Scotland, we can mean as in we, us, or it can
No.
mean we as in it's a wee day, it's a wee investigation. Because sometimes even they get confused. But no, the Scottish accent, I've had a few guests on and they get that kind of confused look on their face.
You mean
If
just
I
like
ask
that
them
about 5 minutes ago where they're both going, did you get what he said? Did you?
Aye.
Because I didn't get it.
It'll
No,
throw
no.
me off, and I get confused real quick. So
Someone bring in the translator, please.
Did it ghost rob you? What happened?
That's why I'm here, really, translate.
because I speak Scottish, I can't speak English. You'll get, don't worry, because we'll be getting you back on, guys, so you'll get used to the Scottish lingo kind of thing, The thing is, before we wind up, I'm Glaswegian, and Glaswegians have a habit that the longer they talk, the faster they talk. And we don't realise we're actually doing it. That's how, if you ever get the chance to sit and listen to two Glaswegians talking, you won't understand the same.
No, that's happened. So I think it was last night. I was just watching a couple of the lives, and these two ladies, I got in there and they were talking, and I thought they were talking like Russian or something. And then I heard, we and and then I started hearing, I'm like, holy crap, they're speaking Scottish. I thought they're completely talking a different language. That's not English.
The way some people talk about it is, you think we lived in a different planet. We do have, but when saying that, there's some people in Scotland that I don't understand.
Wow.
I used to drive trucks years ago, and I used to go up to Aberdeen, which is about 300 miles north to where we are. And I used to deliver to a warehouse every Wednesday. And there was an old guy in it, bless him. I used to dread when he would take the delivery in because I never understood a word they said to me. I was there for 2 years, back and forward, and not once did I understand them. And one day I reversed in, and it was a young guy that was there. And I says, where's, I can't mind his name, Charlie or something. Well, where's Charlie? He says, oh, he's off. And I was like, thank God. I can't understand a word he says. And so he was Scottish, so we don't all understand each other, but I think Glaswegians are kind of unique with the way that we talk. But you'll get used to it, trust me. Eventually. But we're over the 2 hours, folks. I think we'll wind up there for now. But before we go, if Jack's Paranormal want to plug their channel and where everybody can find you and stuff.
Yeah, you can find us on TikTok.
TikTok. That's not TikTok. Did you just shake your TikTok at me?
Yeah, TikTok, whatever. You can find us, obviously, Jack's Paranormal. We have a Facebook page, Jack's Paranormal. I think our YouTube's Jack's Paranormal. If you like our merch, you can actually go to GPS Creations. They have on their website Jack's Paranormal, to where I don't know if y'all saw the cool little. Here's our what you had. This is our logo. Oh shit! How the hell do you do that? There we go. Can y'all see that? How the hell is it sideways?
Turn it the other way. There we go. Round a bit. Round a bit. Round a bit. There. Yeah.
There we go.
Yay!
So we have the sweaters. We have the hats. There's the back of the sweater.
there you go.
It's kind of hard to do this backwards in the camera, but you can get our merch on pscreations.com. They have a section dedicated just for us. Like I said, hats, T-shirts, sweaters. We're going to do cups and stuff like that, so you can go there. But yeah, make sure you follow us on TikTok. Watch our videos, like them, share them, comment. Just stay interactive with them, and if there's some place that you would like us to go, within certain amount of miles, let us know. We'll try to go investigate that place.
Excellent. What's Sundown up to next, Nadine?
We're going on an investigation on Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll go live. We're going back to the rectory where the demon we finally got the team back together at -1 because she's still grieving. Yep, so that's what we'll be up to. I'm dying to go out tonight, really, to be honest. I'm like, should I just go out on my own? Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Can you imagine that, Scott? Me just going on my own.
Absolutely should.
Oh, right, yeah.
You should.
I'll do it if you share it. There you go.
Absolutely. You'll be fine.
You can follow us, obviously, Sundown Paranormal, everywhere. Sundown Paranormal UK, sorry. Everywhere. But yeah, Tuesday we will be going live if you want to watch.
Jesus told you to go up to Chicago, Illinois sometime.
Chicago, no, Chicago, I think 16 hours from us.
16.
Yeah, we'll come tomorrow. What you on about? It's only 16 hours.
I mean, that's what we do. We drive. I mean, I kid you not, we drove in, I think 5 days, 3,700 miles, just around Texas. So
what are you driving?
Jobs.
Yeah, we were working.
My car would be dead. It'd just be like, I give up. I don't want to do it anymore.
I'm not going to tell you what you drive because they don't pay us. No, I'm kidding. I drive a Toyota or Prius, one of the two. If it's a long trip, we'll take the Prius. The 3,700 mile one, I did in my pickup truck.
Right.
I enjoy my driving. I do. The longest I've done is 19 hours, a long time ago. But I enjoy my driving as well.
I took an RV to Florida. It was 23 and a half hour in a normal car. I think for us, it ended up being 36 hours. So, driving is just what we do.
If you want to get anywhere, you need to drive there.
Well, I don't like flying, so I drive.
Scott,
we're
still live again.
I know we're still live.
He forgot last time. He forgot we were still live.
Last time as well. I've done that a couple of times. Still, we've been off for live and still chatted and realised we're still live. But that's the funny of live. You never know what's going to happen. Next up for us, what are we doing next? We're back on. I think we're out on Saturday night. We'll try to go on Saturday night. We're back on Sunday night on Andy Murphy's channel. With the lighter side, with Charlie for the Haunted Hunts and Mr. Murphy and myself. And GSI's coming on that one. GSI like 8 teams. So that's what's next for us. So thanks. I'll hold on to you two guys for a wee second or two after we come off.
Thank you.
All right. And we'll wind it up there just now, folks. So big thanks to Jack's Paranormal for coming in.
Guys. It was lovely chatting to you.
We will get them back again for you folks. And thanks to Nadine, even though she's English, and all that, Nadine and I are back next Thursday with Ghost Sisters.
Yes.
Aye, Ghost Sisters next Thursday.
Aye.
We'll talk to you soon, folks. Thanks for watching all your comments and take care. Bye.
Have a good night.